Adrien, the issue after being completely destroyed by Cobs in their 10-round fight, Adrien proved to be absolutely no trouble at all. Following the heartbreaking loss, Adrien revealed something shocking that supporters had long suspected. Is Broner's turn to put up his gloves finally over? Let's examine what happened after this surprising altercation. By winning a 10-round unanimous decision over Adrien tonight in Florida, Cobs reached a major career milestone. Cobs prevailed because the judges gave him scores of 96-93, 96-93, and 97-91. Cobs was able to take Broner out in the second round, but he was unable to end the battle quickly. Like his previous fights, Adrien, 34, had a bad performance throughout the fight. He had a May 1st, 35 record. He was lethargic, had lost his timing as a counterpuncher, and lacked both speed and power in his blows. Conversely, Adrien's lack of drive and excitement for the bout was apparent. Despite his shortcomings, Cobs showed his enthusiasm and resolve in the ring on January 1st. Cobs may not be regarded as a genuine contender in the welterweight class just yet, but he was fully involved in the fight, firing punches consistently and staying active throughout. His triumph over Broner is noteworthy, particularly in light of Broner's former standing as the sport's top draw. When Cobs looked back on the battle, he praised Adrien's tenacity, pointing out that even after being knocked down, he could still take a good punch. Cobs acknowledged the difficulty Broner posed and showed admiration for the resilience of his opponent. Adrien's 10-round welterweight fight against Cobs was not an easy one. Adrien lost a tooth and his mouthpiece 4 times throughout the fight. At that historic Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, the former world champion was knocked down in the second round and lost by unanimous decision. The fight had a lot of drama and action. Adrien lost a tooth in addition to being knocked out in the second round. He was nevertheless able to stand again and carried on with the fight in spite of this. While Adrien managed to score a few blows, Cobs, who was making his ring comeback after a 2-year hiatus, threw at least twice as many at him. Adrien was commended by Cobs for taking a lot of hard hits after being knocked down. While Broner occasionally struck harder than Cobs, he didn't always seem to be ready to land a punch, possibly fearing a countermove from Cobs. Consequently, a lot of Adrien's punches were not accurate. This setback occurred soon after Adrien made contentious comments about Cobs, including a homophobic insult and a threat of gun violence. In the ring, Cobs outperformed Broner while maintaining his composure and flashing a smile often.
Jab in a left, down goes Broner!
After the battle, it appears from videos that Broner was a little puzzled and refused to acknowledge his defeat. It was evident that he was outmatched, but in his own words, "Cobs didn't beat me." As he was leaving the ring, he continued, "But even his own fans know that his time in the ring is over. They know that the time for retirement has come and that he has to hang up his gloves for good." He even lost a tooth today. Rumor has it that he told his agent that this was his last fight and that he will no longer be fighting. Conversely, Cobs challenged Ryan Garcia to a prospective rematch. He claimed to have looked good in his post-fight interview and that it was time to go out there. He currently holds a 17-1 record, with his only defeat coming at the hands of Alexis Roca. But let's be honest, he defeated Broner well past his prime. Since then, Broner has never looked the same, so Garcia will most likely stop him in 1 or 2 rounds.
I look pretty good, and now it's time to get out there because we want to look even better at the next fight. I came out there and did the very best that I could, coming from Philadelphia and in humble times, and I made it. Get your girl out of my goddamn DM! It's my time. Blair Flair is the most exciting man in boxing, and I'm the people's champion. Woo!
There were significant problems prior to the battle, and it took some time for the fighters to emerge. Promoter Don King, 92, had to wait so long for the Adrien and Cobs ring walks that someone brought a chair into the ring for him. He stood for perhaps 15 minutes, then at last sat down. Though they were unable to add anything new, the television pundits were able to occupy the time with their analysis. Don King is still 92 years old and has the ability to hold an audience's attention. In an interview in between bouts, he became quite divisive. He discussed the need to make the world a better place and to advance boxing. He brought up the wars in which Russia attacked Ukraine without warning and Hamas attacked Israel. King stressed that the losses in these wars are terrible and irreversible, unlike boxing, where a rematch is possible. He bemoaned the needless bloodshed and lamented the hundreds of lives wasted in these conflicts. King emphasized that we can prevent these catastrophes because we are more intelligent and capable. Let's quickly review what happened throughout the opening exchanges of Adrien Broner versus Blair Cobbs. Cobbs had a great start. Broner seemed cautious and showed little aggression or urgency as he landed multiple right jabs and a left to Broner's body, while Cobbs stayed focused and active, circling and continuously with 10 points after landing jabs. It was evident that Cobbs had the better of the round. The second round had more action. Broner attempted a hard left, but it was missing, and Cobbs took advantage by sending a dumb to the canvas with a strong left hand. Although Broner stood up again, the referee had to put his mouthpiece back in. Cobbs persisted in his attack. As Broner failed to react, he continued to land punches, and finally Broner began using jabs to fight back and tried to take Cobbs to the corner. But Cobbs retaliated skillfully, even managing a smile throughout the assault. Notably, it was mentioned that Broner lost a tooth during this round. Cobbs' score of 20-177 at the end of the round put him well ahead of the field. Cobbs continued to take an aggressive stance and threw punches non-stop in the third round. Broner held his position, but his fists were hardly moving, and he appeared uncertain and perplexed. Conversely, Cobbs continued to land blows, widening his lead even more. In the fourth round of Adrien Broner versus Blair Cobbs, the score at the conclusion of the third round was 30-26 in Cobbs' favor. Cobbs got off to a fast start. Broner appeared more intent on blocking strikes defensively than on landing blows, as he connected with his head on many occasions while landing right jabs. Though the audience applauded Broner, he did not take many concrete steps. By the fifth round, Cobbs had extended his lead, demonstrating his overwhelming dominance. Cobbs retaliated with a flurry of blows, deterring Broner from getting close to Cobbs. While Broner was pursuing Cobbs, he didn't throw many punches, which made him an easy target. Nevertheless, Broner was able to land a few lefts. In the sixth round, Cobbs continued to be more active and successful, unleashing a strong left that increased his lead. Broner seemed uneasy, probably fearing a blow to his body if he made a punch. Cobbs took advantage of this. Broner executed a sweeping left and kept up a fast pace, but he appeared worn out and unproductive and was unable to generate any meaningful offense. Despite some trash talk between the competitors as the round came to a finish, Cobbs was still clearly in command. Broner attempted to take the lead with his left in the seventh round, but was struck in the face. He closed the distance and delivered a body shot in retaliation, but he kept losing his mouthpiece, which stopped the fight. Cobbs kept firing, but Broner was starting to come back to life. In the eighth round, the Cobs maintained a commanding lead despite making several excellent strokes. Broner delivered a blow, but it required several strikes. In exchange, Cobbs kept moving his head in a way that frustrated Broner and made it harder for him to throw blows that would land. Cobbs held on to his lead by staying elusive and outboxing Broner. Broner stalked Cobbs again in the ninth round, but Cobbs took the majority of the hits. While smiling throughout the battle, Cobbs swiftly returned fire with a barrage of punches in response to Broner's well-aimed body strikes. Cobbs kept up his dominance, adding to his lead with a thrilling punch fight in the 10th open final round. Broner became more aggressive, but Cobbs successfully retaliated. The audience got into it, yelling for Broner, but Cobbs was always one step ahead of him. As he did all night, landing a massive right, Cobbs responded. Even though Broner won this round, he was still behind in points since he dropped his mouthpiece once more. Cobbs won 98-91 in the end to seal the championship. What do you think? Tell us in the comments section below.